Good evening, everyone. Thanks, CSR Box, for this wonderful opportunity. So, uh, this is a program Navya New Beginning for livelihood promotion for the underprivileged women. And this program we are working across 5 states where we have our manufacturing location. And the program basically targets about providing the livelihood opportunity to the underprivileged women at their doorstep. And we have tried to map this program with the SDGs so that we can map the progress of the program defined against the targets in these 3 SDGs, which is mentioned in my slide. And as a foundation, we are basically working in the 2 areas, which is for the farm-based livelihood activities and non-farm-based livelihood activities. Today, I'm talking about only about the farm-based activities because the session for non-farm is day after tomorrow. So here, if I talk about our model is basically we work with the grassroots level organization and the expert agencies for the implementation of the program, and that's how we promote the livelihood for the underprivileged women. Can you go for the next slide? Yeah, so if I talk about the overall process of the program, how we operate into the communities, we operate into the communities like our major process involved is the identification of the marginalized farmer, especially the women farmers who have land between 1 to 4 acre or maximum 5 acres. And then we understand their current agriculture practices through interaction and through need assessment surveys. And basis that we form the groups for these women who are involved into the farming practices. And then through various awareness trainings and farming technology, we provide the trainings to these farmers. And when we talk about the agriculture practices, it is not core only the agriculture practices, but it has agri-allied activities like livestock management also is a part of this initiative which we do. And for the knowledge sharing, we have partnered with various agriculture university. For example, in Gujarat, we have partnered with Anand Agriculture University, and similarly various KVKs at the local level. This helps us in reducing the cost on the training aspect, as well as we get the expert advice at the grassroots level, so that becomes more valuable for the beneficiary at the grassroots level. And similarly, we also partnered with the agencies, organizations who are working corely into the agro business like Godrej Agrovet and other agencies who provide the grassroots level solution to the women farmer. And lastly, the process involved is the on-field demonstration to the farmer for the first-hand experience. Can you go for the next slide? Yeah, so if I talk about the key intervention under this farm-based program, we have divided the activities into the agri-based intervention and livestock care management. And these are the activities which mostly people have already talked about in their previous presentation. So from soil testing to various compost making processes, and then training on organic farming, climate smart agri practices which we are doing it. One of the significant program which we have recently started in this initiative is promotion of organic farming. And I can say that in Gujarat we are the first organization who have registered the women based organic farming producer organization, who is implementing the organic farming in the Baroda district. And at this moment we have more than 1500 women who are a part of this initiative. And as a part of this initiative, now women are involved in organic farming, but for the organic farming you need various kind of certification for the product marketing. So we have partnered with there is a spelling mistake, sorry. So we have partnered with APIDA for the organic farming certification, and more than 150 women have already received C3 level certification, those who are like eligible for promoting the produce, the organic produce in the market. So that's how we engage with the women for the organic farming production. And apart from that, we also provide intervention for the livestock care management, because that is the secondary source of income for the beneficiary, and it goes parallelly. So here there are many interventions which we are doing it. And here again the criteria, farmer selection criteria, is basically the farmer who have at least 2 cattle. And then we provide various kind of facilities like vaccination, AI facilities, and breeding development program, where we have partnered with the buyer for the Pune location, where they are providing intervention like sorted semen and those kind of intervention, which is helping in the breeding improvement initiative. And similarly, we collaborate with the local milk cooperatives and the milk dairy industries for the market of the program. So if I talk about Gujarat location in Baroda, we have opened a women-based milk cooperative, and more than 400 women are a part of this milk cooperative, and they supply the milk to the Baroda dairy. So that's how wherever there is an opportunity for linking them to the existing cooperatives and existing milk union, we link these women farmer to those unions, so that they get the input facility as well as they get the better market price for the milk which they get it. Can you go for
Shivani, you have about 15 seconds to wrap up the presentation.
Yeah. Can you please go for the next slide?
Yes.
So linkages, if I talk about, we have partner. I already talked about that we work with the KVKs and Atma, and similarly with the agro-based organization. Government linkage is the major focus which we have, and apart from as a CSR initiative, we focus a lot on the government linkage. And so far we have been able to get the good amount of support from NABARD and various initiatives under the government scheme of PM Kisan, and for the agribusiness support which we are getting it. So these are the certain things which we are doing it already under the linkages, and that is the area which as an organization we would like to focus upon for the coming session, where we are exploring opportunity to scale up our program, and how we can promote the linkages through FPO, and how we can collaborate with the like-minded organization for the enhancement of the business of these women farmers. Can you go for the last slide? Yeah, so if I talk about the challenges so far we have addressed, it is basically we have brought the women into one system. Earlier this was not the situation, like they were not very much organized in this sector, at least the location where we are working. Similarly, by registering a FPO, we have tried to removing the middlemen, and they are now able to sell their produce or directly to the market. And similarly, adoption of organic farming is becoming one more major achievement during this lockdown. The organic farming produce was still the major in demand, and women were able to sell it, their produce. So that is the area where we are supporting our farmers. And the program has, though it is not at a very high scale, because it is a CSR initiative and it is started 5-6 years back. So if I talk about the outreach you may not find it very big, but even in the small time we are able to achieve a significant achievement with our partner agencies at field level. So this is what the program is all about. Thank you.
Thank you, Shivani. Our next presentation is by ISAP. We have Mr. Shaibal Chatterjee, Head Market Facilitation from ISAP. Shaibal, are you online?
Yeah, Raghav, I'm here.
Okay, please.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
So at the outset, good evening all the participants and eminent speakers. And it is a great opportunity. I would like to thank NGO Box for providing ISAP this opportunity to become a part of this esteemed program. Not taking much time, I would like to go ahead with the presentation. Next slide, please. So, just giving a brief about what ISAP is. ISAP is Indian Society of Agribusiness Professionals, and we are involved in agriculture development for around 2 decades now, with a team strength of around 600 people and 1,000 resource persons on ground. So we are working primarily on 4 verticals, which is livelihood and agriculture extension, women empowerment, climate change adaptation practices, and entrepreneurship and skill development. Entrepreneurship and skill development, you have already heard Dr. Saket earlier, who was representing Indigram Lab Foundation, which has been floated by ISAP. ISAP is the parent company of ILF. So we'll not go into much detail about that program. Coming to livelihood and agriculture extension, so ISAP till now has formed close to 200 farmer producer organizations, which have around 1,000 farmers each. So around 2 lakh farmers we are associated with directly. We have also made 46 custom hiring service centers, which are catering to around 15,000 farmers, and we are operating 20 single window centers in Jharkhand, catering to around 1,20,000 farmers. We have directly worked with around 5 lakh rural women, whom we have trained on safe usage of kitchen fuel. We have ongoing training program of 80,000 plus adolescent girls on life skills and livelihoods in Jharkhand, and we have promoted around 20,000 women self-help groups. To 20,000 women we have facilitated through around 1,500 self-help groups. In climate change adaptation practices, we have made various water harvesting structures like anicuts, farm ponds. We have set up drinking water plants to remove arsenic poisoning. We have set up ultraviolet RO plants. We have promoted integrated farming system for around 20,000 farmers, which I will be discussing in detail later on. And we have also set up hybrid electricity grid in a remote village in Bid, Maharashtra, which is producing electricity with the help of wind and solar power. Next slide, please. So this is the outreach. ISAP is covering around 8,000 villages in India with around 250 blocks, covering 100 districts in 11 states. So I was discussing about the 200 odd FPOs which ISAP has promoted. Now ISAP has developed a specific concept called agribusiness village resource centers. In the coming slide, I will be discussing in that. So this slide shows that we have set up 12 agribusiness resource centers, one in Karnataka and in Rajasthan. 6 are there in Karnataka and 6 are there in Rajasthan. Now, what is it about? We'll discuss in detail. Next slide, please. So this, as you see, are physical structures. We call them agribusiness village resource centers because this is we have conceived this as a hub for agribusiness purposes. Now, whatever a farmer needs, basically after production, is that they need aggregation. Before production, they need agri inputs, and they also, to rise in the value chain, they also need some sort of processing also. So these agribusiness village resource centers have been envisaged in such a manner that it has a complete array of all the facilities which a farmer or a farmer company should have. So these are basically setups which are run by farmer producer organizations. So these are not run by ISAP, to be very clear. These are run by FPOs. Now it has as you see, it has 2 basic blocks. One is the agribusiness center and one is the HRD unit. So the agribusiness center have an FPO office. It has a mini warehouse to store seeds or fertilizers or other things which the FPO members need. It has a farm mechanization center, which we also call custom hiring centers. It also has a plant nursery to sell seedlings to the FPO members. It has mini processing unit, as I said, to do some sort of basic processing activities, primary processing activities of the produce, and it also has an input store to sell fertilizers, pesticides, seeds, etc. to the member farmers. It also has a HRD unit because we envisage that when a farmer or a farmer family is coming to the center, it should have a primary health center also where they can have their health checkup done by a doctor who is visiting periodically. It also has a women's skill development center where the SHG women have and come and do their activities. And it also has a computer education center where the youth of the village can come and learn computer skills. Next slide, please. So this, as you see, so we have not stopped just at the level of giving farmers training on increasing production or on good agriculture practices, but we have gone a step ahead and we have facilitated them in forming a brand name, in getting a brand name first. So this is the Dharini brand name which we have facilitated the farmers and the women SHG members to sell their produce through under this brand name to give an identity of that produce. And now the FPOs are packing honey, they are grinding spices like chili, red chili powder, turmeric and coriander, and they are selling it under the brand name of Dharini. Women self-help groups are making papads and they are selling under this brand name of Dharini. So it is an umbrella brand which we have facilitated for the FPO members, farmers as well as women to bring their produce to the market. Next slide, please.
Shaibal, we have about 15 seconds left to wrap up the presentation.
So I was telling in my earlier slide that we have promoted integrated farming system. This is a concept which is not new for the farmers, but they have not been doing it in a systematic manner. So we have, through our project interventions, we have promoted this where we provide them a vermicompost unit, and you can see the pictures down there in the slide, which is a portable unit which the farmer can take from one place to another to make vermicompost in their farm. We have provided the rotary units with three animals, one male and two female does, and poultry units, the farmers who are interested in doing poultry. We have also facilitated 1 acre horticultural plantations of guava, lemon, pomegranate, etc. as per the choice of the farmer. And we have promoted low-cost gravity drip. Now, this is not the regular drip, but this is a low-cost drip because it has, as you can see in the last picture, water tanks installed and where the farmer can fill the water, and through gravity, then the water goes to the plantation, the fruit tree plantation. So in a way, he saves power and he is able to do drip irrigation by leveraging gravity. Next slide, please. Bhagyashree, next slide.
Shaibal,
these are the
but
this is the last. This is the second last slide.
Okay.
So these are the custom hiring service centers which we have. We have around 46 in Karnataka. Next slide, Bhagyashree. And these are the 6 custom hiring. These are basically part of the agribusiness village resource centers which I was discussing earlier. Just to give a glimpse that these are all the on-farm livelihood initiatives which ISAP is working on and ISAP has promoted amongst the farmers through the FPO model. Now, I am open to questions because this was my last slide. Next. We can take the questions later on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Shaibal. Next, we will listen to the practices by BPC Banking Technologies. We have Debarshi Datta with us. Debarshi, I'm stopping my screen sharing. You can share your PPT.
Sure, thank you. Hi, good evening, everybody. Bhagyashree, am I audible and is my screen visible?
Yes, both.
Thank you. So, good evening, everybody, and thanks CSR Box for providing us the opportunity to present ourselves also And this is a very nice initiative taken by CSR Box to bring everybody onto the same platform. So I was going through the presentations for multiple speakers, and thanks everybody for showcasing your products. It was really nice to go through multiple things. And for BPC, let me just tell you briefly about BPC. BPC, we are a 25-year-old organization headquartered in Switzerland, and we are a technology company. We are new in India, and I call ourselves a startup. So in India, we have designed a platform. I would say it is an e-commerce B2B platform called Safal Fasal. So what we do is, this is a complete agri-tech ecosystem, and we are very new to this space. We have launched our services in January this year, and the platform was launched in December 2019. So Safal Fasal, everybody knows it's a successful harvest, and the intent of this platform is to connect everybody, including the buyers, sellers, and the ecosystem player in a single platform. So what we do is we bring in the buyers also to the FPOs and farmers directly. We bring in farm input companies, knowledge sharing partners, banks and financial institutions, as well as value-added services. So currently we are working with 59 FPOs, including some partners who are already present, like Tanager is present here. We are working with Reliance Foundation and their FPO and the FPOs they are mentoring with JSW Foundation, Dr. Reddy's Foundation, etc. to reach out to the farmers. Along with that, we are working with ICICI Bank for bill discounting and credit fee functionalities. We are also working with Fino Payments Bank for last mile banking facilities, and we are exploring some new models with Fino Payments Bank also now. As well as what we are bringing to is advisory services. We are conducting multiple webinars with multiple FPOs on various agronomy advisories on various crops, wherein experts from Bayer, Coromandel, various universities come across and share the best practices with the farmers. These are done on a zone basis manner. So, and we are also bringing in multiple input players to our platform to provide input services, starting with seeds, then going to agrochemicals, etc. And we have buyers. We are creating linkages with the buyers for buyback of the produce as well. So we have a host of buyers also right now, and that is what we are trying to solve, that what seed do we produce. Since we are present on both the sides, so we know what variety of seeds is being sown in the particular geography or the particular area. So accordingly, we can map the buyers who can be procuring those quality of produce. So like the harvest, which will be coming in late September, October onwards, we are already planning for the FPOs where we are present to search for the buyers who will be who can directly have a market linkages on that. And we are training the FPOs also on various quality parameters on the various commodities that we are dealing with. On FNV also, we are working with a few FPOs so that we can directly linkages their daily produce to the buyers. So that's what we are doing currently. These are the few ecosystem players we are already working with presently, and we are also creating multiple demo farms. With 8 FPOs, we have created demo farms for paddy to check the various variety of seeds and what is the output they can map through. So these are done by Mahindra Agri Solutions, as their Delta Seeds has also come in and provided some inputs in that piece. Bayer and Coromandel are definitely there who are helping us on the farmer side of it. So these are the various players with whom we are working around. These are the key learnings that we have, which I mentioned we have gone through in this. And since we are relatively new, I have nothing much to share in this. But definitely this looks promising. And thanks CSR Box for giving us the initiative. And without taking much of a time, I end my presentation here and looking forward for more partners from this initiative to join hands with. Thank you. Over to you, Bhagyashree.
Yeah, thank you, Debarshi. Moving on, we have Mr. Rajneesh Kumar from Microsave Consulting. Hi, Rajneesh, you're not audible.
Hello, can you hear
Hello?
me now? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but it's the volume level is low.
Okay, just give me a moment.
Now it's better. Now it's yes, it's better.
Okay. So can I start?
Yes, you can begin.
Yeah. Thank you, Bhagyashree. Thank you, CSR Box, to giving us this opportunity to present our work, which we are currently doing in Bihar. So before moving directly to our work, we'd like to give just a small brief about ourselves. So Microsave now MSc Consulting is a financial, social and economic inclusion consulting firm. We are working for more than 2 decades in India, Mekong region, Africa, Francophone nations. And we have different themes we are working in, like agriculture is one of the themes. We are into different areas as well, like banking, financial services, BFSI, government and WASH, social payments, refugees, digital and fintech, agriculture. But agriculture is one of the most prominent area we are working right now from past 3-4 years. So moving on to our project, we are doing a couple of projects in India right now. So this Marquee project is with Jivika, the State Rural Livelihood Mission of Bihar. So just to give a brief about this project is with Jivika, and we are there to establish a strategic think tank, and the name of the project is Jivika Special Purpose Vehicle for Agriculture Transformation. So it is a special purpose vehicle which will act as a strategic think tank for overall what Jivika is doing, or how they can achieve their goals and objectives at a broader level. If we see the program level objectives, and so it is to enable high quality services to smallholder farmers. So focus is basically on the smallholder farmers to bring about economic transformation and provide a strategic direction to policy framework and agriculture and livestock in Bihar. So Bill and Melinda Gates is one of our partner, apart from Jivika and from the World Bank. So I'm just giving a brief about our work around this project. It is a fairly new project, just started in January this year, and so core focus area of this project is around institutional and system strengthening. When you say system and institutional strengthening, we are saying that we are working with farmers, farmer producer companies, and Jivika as well, so entire institutions, right? And then development of a market ecosystem around FPCs especially. So creating a symbiotic kind of relationship between these FPCs, Jivika, and the new age agri-techs startup, right? So we have heard a lot about different participants. Few of them are agri startups as well, and it was good to see that we have our partners in this form as well, right? The third focus area is on data system, because it helps us to analyze what is going currently in farming, production side, market side, right? So just explaining a bit more about our core focus area. So mainly when we say agriculture market system, it's value chain transformation. So we are working with more than 10 FPCs in Bihar right now, and they are into different commodities, right? So, for example, in their maize zone, maize is a significant commodity. In non-perishable, we have fruits like mangoes and lychees. In cereals and other, we have lentils, right? So we are working on value chain transformation, creating market ecosystem, bringing more partners who can give a fair price to the farmers, right? Trying to work with intermediaries, right, so that a value is distributed with farmers as well. And then lastly, making managerial and institutional capabilities within the FPCs, their members. So in past 5 months was what we have just started. So we have done a thorough diagnostic of this FPC, right, to understand where they stand right now, right, their geographies, their balance sheet, everything, so that we can probably co-create a path for them. So this was our first step, and we have done almost 10 plus diagnostic for these FPCs. Then we are trying to create a market-oriented model for these FPCs. When we say market-oriented model, it certainly is to bring more players, right, and communicate the market demand to those farmers. We have onboarded multiple institutional partners, right, because maize is a very significant commodity in a few FPCs there. So bringing in these times of COVID-19, there was the normal supply chain, the marketing pattern, everything was disrupted. So bringing on new thinking in how these things can be procured from farm gate and farmers can get a fair value, although the market prices have crashed from 50 up to 50% from the last year prices. And then designing and roll out of demand-based products, which currently is the need of the hour. For example, in the maize zone, what we experienced was like some of the farmers are not able to digest that the maize prices have gone down by up to 15%. So they were holding the produce, but the problem is that the warehousing capabilities of those smallholder farmers are very limited. They cannot hold it scientifically. So we have developed some design and demand-based products there and try to roll out. So I'm just keeping this very brief. This is all from my side. We'll welcome questions from participants and co-speakers as well. So on that note, I would like to end my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajneesh. We have Mr. Suman from Dr. Reddy's Foundation.
Hello, hello, Bhagyashree. Thank you so much. So, can you just show us? Okay.
Yes.
So, good evening, everyone. Thanks, Mr. Box, for connecting to all the ecosystem players here, and it's been a insightful connection as of now till from last two hours. Okay, so Dr. Reddy's Foundation, let me give 1 minute introduction about Dr. Reddy's Foundation. Dr. Reddy's Foundation is a not-for-profit. It's not a CSR foundation of Dr. Reddy's laboratories, but it's an independent foundation, family trust, which also works with other corporates, other CSRs in various thematic areas, which are Dr. Reddy's Foundation is into education, youth skilling, and persons with disability skilling, and also into agriculture. Apart from, we are also having small programs in health and social sector leadership development, and also promoting women in science through scholarship program. We are a 25 years old organization, and we have been present in about 21 states. And our target group are youth, persons with disability, youth and women, farmers and children, and also rural households. We have been working in agriculture for almost 11 years, and though we are one of the early pioneers in youth skilling in terms of agriculture and rural livelihoods, we have been working with small and marginal farmers since 2011, and till now we could impact about 1 lakh farmers, small and marginal farmers across 7 states. And let me give you a program called Mitra, which we have been doing it from 2015 onwards. The aim of the goal of this program, Mitra, is about increasing farmers' income by about 50%. And why 50%? We have said everybody talking about doubling farmer income, and when we talk about farm income, even Niti Aayog said, and all other studies also have highlighted that farmer income cannot be doubled unless the farm household is engaged in a non-farm intervention or non-farm activity. So since this program, this particular presentation is all about, this particular intervention is all about farm intervention, so we have a goal of 50% increase in farmer income. And the key objectives we focus, or the key levers we have, is reducing the cost of cultivation, and around yield increase, and then third element we have is about increasing access to market, thereby farmers can get increased price realization. Next slide. Next slide. So the delivery model is that we use farmer to farmer extension as a delivery model, and government and private players are the key stakeholders in it. So how do we do it? Is about dissemination of good agricultural practices by lead farmers. So we typically identify crop-based lead farmers or progressive farmers in every village through a process. So thereby this can be replicated in everywhere, and without having a local or a individual-based biases. So this particular process has been vetted in about 7 states from last 4 years. So we have a very rigorous and time-tested process in terms of selecting them. And the other one is important element is that this particular progressive farmers are community nominated, and they work 100% non-financial. So they are not paid for any of these activities. And the other element is about they do the adoption and dissemination of package of practices among the fellow farmers, and they help the fellow farmers in terms of this adopting those new practices. Now the other thing is that we leverage the local KVKs, agri universities, ICAR institutions, as well as other technical agencies in terms of technical and advisory services. And we also work with a lot of private players as well as ag startups in terms of access to market and better price realization, as well as new technologies or products to be brought to the farmers. Next slide, Bhageshri. So this delivery model has been tested both in irrigated and rain-fed cultivation, and it has already had, sorry, go to the previous slide, please. And we have worked with diversified crops, cereal crops, cash crops, and vegetable crops. And this has been tested in about 600 villages, 7 states from 2016 to 2018. And now local ecosystem is leveraged based on their strengths and to bring their ownership, so that sustainability and the scalability is ensured. Next slide. So we have already worked with about 25,000 farmers across multiple states through this delivery model. Next slide, Bhageshri. So the results, no. Go to next slide, previous slide, please. So the results wise, as I told you, we could help about increasing the 75% of annual income for the farmers in AP, and this could be achieved because of our cost of cultivation saving majorly because of introduction of farm mechanization as well as low cost technologies. and increase in the yield. And when it comes to Bihar, we could have at an average 49% increase in the income for the farmers in Bihar. And as seen in the slide, you can see I have taken two cereal crops because they are the major crops covered in terms of crop area. So the key assumptions are minimum 1 hectare of land we have taken, and 2 crops is season we have taken, and based on this is what is the result we could get. So the additional income resulted mainly due to saving in the cost of cultivation and yield enhancement. With all existing limitations of market uncertainties, weather vulnerabilities, farmer to farmer extension delivery at village level can be a low hanging fruit, but yet effective tool to improve the farmer income is what we believe, and that is what is our theory of change. And as most of the even research shows that if you invest in farmer to farmer extension, you will be actually getting about 50 to 70 times of the investment made. That is what is our results have proved once again. Next slide, please.
Suman, you have about 10 minutes to wrap up, or 10 seconds
Yes,
to wrap up.
No problem. So currently this is about 1 million farmers we want to impact in coming 3 to 5 years of period in 6 to 7 low income districts. And the cost of this entire intervention would be around 2,000 rupees per farmer. And at an average, the annual income can be around 45,000 to 50,000. So anything between 15x to 20 to 25x is what is the return on investment made. And we're also focusing on non-farm interventions, which has already been started in our some of the pilot locations. So we are on that entire track of implementing this. Next slide, Bhagishree. So we seek partnership from all the people who are into either startups which have agri commodity players, so that they can we can add value to the farmers in terms of increase the market access to farmers. And donors, of course, if anybody or any interested donor wants to work in a small area of a block or a cluster of villages or at a district level, we are open to for that kind of a program expansion. And we have already committed our own funding, about 13 crore for this entire 3 to 5 years of period for this entire program. Next slide, please. So this is what is we have a very strong monitoring and evaluation plan. So we focus on these 4 monitoring: result, process, beneficiary, as well as organizational monitoring. And we have a very strong data collection framework, and we also work on the data analysis in a rigorous way, so that we are very clear about where we are and where we need to go and how exactly the program is moving, so that we'll be able to have any course correction, as well as we'll be able to make a impact which is long lasting and sustainable.